Listen, learn, speak with confidence. That's what we do here, every single episode.
Welcome back, everyone. Grab your coffee, get comfortable. This is your cozy place to learn English.
Hey, Tom, ready for today?
I think so. Why do you sound like you're planning something?
Okay, Tom, quick question, and I want your honest answer. What's a mistake you made that you still think about? Like it just pops into your head sometimes, out of nowhere, usually right when you're trying to fall asleep?
Oh, wow. Okay, you're really starting strong today.
I mean it. Everybody has one. That one moment that replays itself at the worst possible time.
Okay, okay. Honestly, there's this one email I sent at my first job in the US. I was so nervous about sounding professional that I used a word I didn't actually understand, and I used it completely wrong. My manager replied with just one line, "I think you meant something else here." I wanted to disappear. I actually closed my laptop and just sat there for a minute.
See, that's exactly it. That little stomach drop feeling where your whole body reacts before your brain even catches up.
Right. And I still think about it sometimes, years later, for no reason at all. I'll be doing something completely unrelated, like washing dishes, and suddenly that email pops back into my head.
That's today's topic, everyone. Mistakes. The ones we make, the ones we replay in our heads at 2 in the morning, and honestly, what they're actually trying to teach us if we let them. This is your daily English conversation, made for real life, not just for textbooks.
If you are at a B1 or B2 level, this conversation is built right for you. The words, the speed, the grammar, all of it is at your level.
And if you're just starting out, A1, A2, don't worry about catching every single word. Just relax. Let the conversation flow around you like background music. Your ears are learning, even when your brain feels a little behind, and that's completely normal. This is exactly what real English listening practice should feel like. Easy, natural, no pressure.
Maybe you're listening to this on your morning commute, coffee in hand, half asleep on the train, watching the city wake up outside the window.
Or maybe you're on your lunch break at work, just needing 5 minutes that aren't about spreadsheets or emails or your manager's calendar invites.
Or walking the dog, watching the leaves change, just letting our voices keep you company on a quiet street.
Wherever you are, welcome. Let's talk about mistakes.
So here's mine, the real story in full detail. My first month in the US, I had a job interview for a customer service position. I practiced my answers for days. I stood in front of the mirror, I wrote notes on index cards, I even practiced my handshake. And then, right in the middle of the interviewer asked, "Tell me about a time you handled a difficult customer." And my mind just went completely blank. Not slow, blank, like someone turned off the lights in my head.
Oh no.
I sat there for what felt like a full minute, just staring at her, saying, I finally gave some answer that didn't even make sense, something about a customer and a package, but the sentence didn't really connect to the question at all. I left that interview convinced my English wasn't good enough for any job in this country. I remember sitting in my car in the parking lot for 20 minutes before I could even drive home.
But here's what I want to push back on, Tom. What if that blank moment wasn't about your English at all?
What do you mean?
I mean, native speakers freeze in interviews, too, all the time. It's not a language failure, it's a nervous system reaction. Your brain thought it was in danger, so it hit pause on everything, including the words you actually knew perfectly well 5 minutes earlier.
I never separated those two things before. I just assumed blank mind equals bad English. It felt like such clear proof.
Right, and that's the trap so many of us fall into. We take one hard moment and we let it define our whole ability, our whole identity as English speakers, even when the evidence doesn't actually support that story.
Okay, but it felt so real in that moment, like undeniable proof, sitting right there in front of me.
It felt real, but feelings aren't always facts. Here's an image for you. Think about a plane landing in bad weather. The landing is bumpy, maybe even a little scary. The plane shakes, people grip their armrests. But nobody looks at that landing and says, "This plane can't fly." The plane still flew the whole way there, thousands of miles, safely, and the bumpy part was just the last 30 seconds.
I like that. The bumpy landing isn't the whole flight.
Exactly. So let me ask you, did you ever get another interview after that one?
I did, actually, about 2 weeks later for a different company.
And how did that one go?
Better. Not perfect, but better. My hands were still a little shaky, but my mind stayed clear. I got the job.
So the story didn't end at the blank moment.
No, it kept going, and honestly, the ending mattered a lot more than that middle scene.
That's the part we forget, right? We stopped the story too early, right at the painful scene, and we never let ourselves watch what happens next, what we actually did with that experience.
We just replay the freeze over and over, like hitting rewind on the worst 3 seconds of a movie and never pressing play again to see the rest.
Before we move on, think about your own experience for a second. Is there a moment like that for you? One you've been rewinding without ever pressing play again? Keep it.
Okay, your turn. Tell me a mistake, and don't hold back either. Fine. When I first moved here, I was at a grocery store standing in line with my basket, and the cashier asked me something fast, like really fast, American fast, the kind of speed where the words all blend together. And I panicked and just said yes to everything. Turns out I said yes to a store credit card application.
Wait, you signed up for a credit card by accident?
By pure accident. I didn't understand the question. I just smiled and nodded and said yes because that felt safer in that moment than saying I don't understand.
Why did it feel safer?
Because saying I don't understand felt like admitting I didn't belong there, like everyone in line behind me would look at me and think, she doesn't speak English well enough to be here doing something as simple as buying groceries.
But saying yes to something you don't understand, that caused an actual problem, a real one with real consequences.
A real one. I had to call customer service and cancel the whole thing, in English, over the phone, which was even more embarrassing than the original moment, because now I couldn't see the person's face or use any gestures to help me.
So the fear of looking bad for 1 second turned into a bigger mess for a whole week.
Exactly. And here's the reframe I eventually landed on. What if asking someone to slow down or asking them to repeat something isn't weakness at all? What if it's actually a skill, something you practice and get better at, like any other skill?
A skill. Say more.
Think about a photographer adjusting a blurry lens before taking a photo. They don't just accept a bad blurry photo and move on. They pause, they adjust, they focus again until the picture is clear. Asking, "Can you say that again, please?" is you adjusting the lens on the conversation.
I never thought of it as an action I could take. I always thought of it as something to avoid, something that made me look weak or slow.
Same, but avoiding it made things worse, not better, every single time.
So now, when you don't understand something, what do you actually do?
Now I just say it plainly. Sorry, could you say that a little slower? Most people are kind about it, more than we expect them to be.
And when they're not kind about it?
Then that's about them, not about my English.
That's a good line. That's about them, not about my English.
Write that one down.
I think a lot of listeners right now are nodding along thinking about their own grocery store moment or their own blank interview moment, something specific from their own life.
If that's you listening right now, if you've been carrying around one embarrassing moment for months, maybe years, replaying it on your walk to work, here's what I want to say directly to you. That moment does not define your English. It is one bumpy landing, not the whole flight. Say the plane you were flying is still in the air. You are still moving forward, even on the days it doesn't feel like it.
And honestly, the people who sound the most fluent, the most confident, they made just as many mistakes as you, probably more. They just kept talking anyway, day after day, mistake after mistake. That's really what American English speaking practice looks like in real life. Not perfect, just consistent.
They kept talking anyway. That might be the whole secret, actually. The entire thing hiding behind years.
Let's do one more round, because I think there's a flip side to this too. The mistakes we make with other people, not just with language itself.
Oh, like social mistakes, cultural mistakes?
Exactly. I remember at a work party, someone asked me, "How's it going?" And I actually started explaining in detail how my day was going, step by step, from breakfast onward.
Oh, Dom.
I didn't know yet that "how's it going" is basically just hello. The person's face was so confused, this frozen little smile. They just wanted a "good, you?" Nothing more than that.
That's such a classic one. American English small talk has its own hidden rules that nobody sits you down and explains.
Nobody hands you a manual when you land here. You just figure it out through small, embarrassing moments like that one.
Right. But here's a reframe. That mistake actually taught you something real about the culture, not just the language itself. You learned a rule that textbooks rarely mention because it's not grammar, it's behavior.
That's true. I never made that mistake again after that day.
See, that's the trade. You pay a small, embarrassing moment, and in exchange, you get a lesson that sticks with you forever. It's almost like a toll you pay to cross into understanding a new culture.
A toll booth for cultural understanding. I like that image a lot.
Quick question. After that party mistake, did you stop going to work events?
No, actually, I went to more of them because I wanted to learn the unwritten rules faster before I embarrassed myself again.
So the mistake pushed you forward instead of backward.
When you say it like that, yeah, it did. It made me more curious instead of more afraid.
That's the pattern over and over in every story we've told today. The mistake feels like a wall in the moment, something blocking you completely. But later, looking back, it's actually a door, one you didn't even know was there.
A door you didn't know you needed to walk through until after you'd already walked through it.
Exactly. And it's not just big moments either, right? Sometimes it's the tiny daily mistakes that pile up and quietly wear you down more than any single big embarrassing story ever could.
Like what? Give me an example.
Like mispronouncing a coworker's name for the third time, or writing "it's" instead of "its" in a work message, and only noticing after you've already hit send. None of these things are disasters on their own.
But they add up in your head like little pebbles in a bag you keep carrying around all day.
Exactly. And here's a question worth sitting with. Think about your own experience for a second. What if the goal was never to stop making these small mistakes completely?
What do you mean? Isn't that the whole point of learning?
I mean, what if the real goal is just noticing them faster and caring about them a little less each time? Not zero mistakes, just lighter ones.
Lighter mistakes. I like that phrase.
Think of it like carrying a backpack on a long hike. You don't need an empty backpack to enjoy the walk. You just need it light enough that it doesn't stop you from moving forward.
So the mistakes stay in the backpack, but they get smaller and lighter as you go.
Right. And some of them you even forget you're carrying it all until one day you realize the weight is just gone.
Okay, I'm ready. My favorite part of the whole episode, and honestly one of the best ways to learn English naturally.
The vocabulary segment. Let's get into today's 5 words, all connected to mistakes and all things you'll actually hear in real American English conversation, not just in textbooks.
First word, blunder.
Ooh, that's a strong one, a very visual word. Tom, before I explain it, can you try using it in a sentence just from the sound of it?
Maybe something like, forgetting the client's name in the meeting was a total blunder.
That's actually perfect, and it's exactly right. A blunder is a careless, obvious mistake, usually one that could have been avoided with a little more attention or care.
And here's the callback. A blunder feels big in the moment, embarrassing and loud in your head, but most blunders are forgotten by everyone except you within a week.
Word number 2, own up to. Tom, try this one too. Guess what it means from how it sounds.
Is it something like admitting you did something wrong?
Exactly right. To own up to something means to admit you did it, honestly, without making excuses or blaming someone else. Example, I owned up to sending the wrong file and just fixed it right away.
The callback here, owning up to a mistake instead of hiding it, is actually what builds trust with people, including trust in yourself over time.
Word 3, slip up. Your turn again, Tom. Give it a guess before I explain.
A slip-up sounds small, like a tiny mistake, not a big deal.
You're right on target. A slip-up is a small, casual mistake, usually not a huge deal at all. Example, calling my boss by the wrong name was a small slip-up, nothing serious.
Callback, notice how casual this word sounds. Not every mistake needs a dramatic reaction attached to it. Some are just slip-ups, and that's fine.
Word 4, learning curve. Take a guess.
I'd guess it's about the process of getting better at something over time, even when it's hard at first.
Beautifully close. It's the period of time where something is hard because you're new at it, and slowly, day by day, it gets easier. Example, the first few months speaking English at work were a steep learning curve, but it got smoother over time.
Callback, if you're in the middle of your learning curve right now, today, this week, that's not a bad sign. That's exactly where you're supposed to be.
Word 5, our last one, shake it off. Any guesses, Tom?
I think I actually know this one. It means to not let something bother you and just move on.
Exactly right, and a favorite in everyday American English, very common. It means to not let a mistake bother you for too long, to move forward instead of staying stuck in it, replaying it endlessly. Example, I messed up my order at the coffee shop, but I just shook it off and moved on with my day.
Callback, and honestly, that might be the whole theme of today's episode in 3 simple words: shake it off.
Let's do our rapid recap. Blunder, a careless, obvious mistake.
Own up to, admitting what you did honestly, without excuses.
Slip up. A small, casual mistake. Nothing dramatic.
Learning curve, the hard but temporary period of getting better at something.
And shake it off. Letting go of a mistake and moving forward with your day.
5 words, 1 theme, and hopefully a little less weight on your shoulders today. That's what real English listening practice and English speaking practice should feel like. Useful, not stressful.
If there's one thing I want you to take from this episode, it's this. Your mistakes in English are not proof that you're behind. They're proof that you're actually trying, actually living in this language, out loud, in real situations, with real people.
The blank interview, the grocery store yes, the how's it going mix-up, none of those were the end of the story. They were just one bumpy scene in a much longer flight, one that's still going.
So here's the line I want you to remember, maybe even write down somewhere. You are not your worst English moment. You are every single time you kept speaking anyway.
Say that again, Tina. I love that one.
You are not your worst English moment. You are every single time you kept speaking anyway.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today.
Truly, thank you for being here, wherever you're listening from, whatever your day looks like.
Remember, your English goal and your life goal are both closer than you think.
If today's conversation helped you, hit subscribe and join us for more natural English conversations every week. Real stories, real American English, and a little less pressure along the way.
Next episode, we're talking about something just as close to the heart, the fear of starting over. Trust us, you won't want to miss it.
Until then, keep going, keep talking, and we'll see you soon.
Bye for now.